My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Every basketball fan is locked in on the NBA Finals between the San Antonio Spurs and the New York Knicks, headlined by two stars that are almost polar opposites. For the Knicks is the undersized and crafty guard Jalen Brunson, whose clutch performances in the playoffs have put him in rare air in New York City alongside Yankees superstar slugger Aaron Judge. Joe Pirello is former chief marketing officer for the city of New York. He spoke to Bloomberg about how marketable both Brunson and Judge are.
What I can see is they're really good people. If you're going to consider an athlete or a celebrity, the number one thing that matters is their character. I think that both Aaron and Jalen passed those tests.
Brunson also turned down a lot of money, taking a cheaper deal from the New York Knicks to allow them more flexibility to add co-stars to its roster. A selfless gesture that New York fans have eaten up. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at the Lowe's Pro Desk. Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it to us and get a quote in minutes. And if you don't see what you need on the shelf, we'll help you get it. You can access thousands of products beyond what's available in-store or on Lowe's.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk. Build quotes faster and source the materials you need to keep your jobs moving. Just like that, at Lowe's.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a bee's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh, the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Welcome to the program. Today is Monday, June 8th, 2026. I would like to jog your memories and go back in time a little bit in order to shed light on a situation that we may be less conscious of or less aware of these days and times when there is some kind of motivation. I'm not sure where the motivation is coming from. I don't believe it's coming from us. And when I say us, you know who I'm talking about, Black folks, to bring together under one cooperative banner people of color. People of color are marginalized and people of color are discriminated against and people of color have these different disparities. Oh, they're all in one big group. They all love on each other. They all work together and they all cooperate together and they share economics together. No, we don't. Not even a little tiny bit. But someone somewhere decided that it would be easier, quite honestly, it's intellectually and historically lazy to lump all of these quote unquote people of color together. Someone who is in this nation without proper documentation from Tijuana, Mexico is absolutely a person of color. They may be a laborer, maybe a migrant worker. They travel throughout the Midwest based upon where they can find work. And again, they are not a citizen. They may or may not have a driver's license. They may or may not have children. Now, they are absolutely a person of color, but I have next to nothing in common with that person. First and foremost, there is another country that they, in fact, are from. They have another nationality. They are a citizen somewhere else. I am not a citizen anywhere else, so we don't have very many things in common. I would argue that a person of Asian, either East or Southern, are absolutely positively people of color. If you see a South Asian person with the last name of Patel, 80% of the people in their family are doctors and or physicians. Now, I would say absolutely the Patel family, hailing from the Punjabi region of the country of India, which is a democracy, the largest, oldest democracy on planet Earth, also a nuclear power. I would 100% agree that that doctor's family, the Patel family from the Punjabi region of India, yes, they're people of color. I got nothing in common with them. However, I do love some good Indian food. Another example of contrived, intellectually lazy collaborations of these different groups are the LGBTQIA plus people, and they have a rainbow flag, and then a couple other colors were added to the flag because it used to be just the rainbow flag. You notice they added a couple of chocolate stripes to it? That's for y'all black folks, that because they didn't want to exclude you all. You know how like the United States flag didn't always have 50 stars? As we got more states and more territories were included, we had to add more stars. So the rainbow flag is not just a rainbow flag anymore. It's got some pink in there. It's got some black in there. It's got some brown. It's got some chocolate in there, to encompass the new folks, because for some reason, prior to recent times, black and brown folks of the LGBTQ community simply were not included. Y'all should do a case study on how racist that movement actually is, but let me go ahead and say this. My guy hit me up. He was hanging out with his girl. We're all very good friends. They was like, hey, man, this is on Saturday. They was like, what you doing tonight? I was like, chilling, resting, relaxing, loving this Saturday night, because I went out to dinner with my family on Saturday, and usually that's enough fun and excitement for me. I don't need to be in these damn streets. Ain't nothing in these streets good for Sherwin. And it was like, hey, man, we got a little area down here in the Walker's Point. I said, wait a minute now. It's gay weekend down in the Walker's Point. He was like, you got to come see this. He's straight. His girlfriend is straight. They was like, come on, man. You got to come look. Being as curious as I am, not bi-curious, just people curious. I was like, screw it. I'll ride down on y'all. I park right in the area, Second and National, and you just hear the jubilation. It's happy gays everywhere. So we had there's a little parking lot right across the street from Stenny's, and that parking lot was emptied out for people to sit and to hang out. And they had like a little pop up little liquor stand in there, and you got that little bar that's on that same side of the street. And like the guy that came and took our drink order was wearing some leather Daisy Duke hot pants, a mesh sleeveless shirt with a harness on. They had, hi, would you like a drink? I was like, I would. I kind of wanted to follow him just to make sure, you know what I mean? I don't want no funny business. I wanted to make sure he was actually stirring my drink with a stirring stick and not something else. But it was something else. It was all sorts of different kinds of people down there. And I saw this coming together of a community. It was very black. Very black. So this particular group of friends, they also went to the event on the Summerfest grounds, the Pride Festival. I didn't go to that. That's a little too much. I mean, I'm proud of stuff, but that's not me. No offense. I hope nobody's offended. It's just, that's not me. And they were telling me that like a third of the people that were there were black. And maybe there are more African American allies in the community than I ever thought, or a bunch of our folks in the black community are still very much in the closet. Either way, I'm not making any kind of negative, disparaging judgment on those folks. But what I saw hanging out at Walker's Point, and then at some point I ended up at the strip club on Saturday night, which I don't know. I was taken to the strip club against my will. That was not my plan. If I ever end up at the strip club after 1:00 in the morning, send help. And that's what I put on my Facebook page. I tagged my location and I said help. Did not nan one of you come to save me. Not a single one of you came to rescue me. See, now I understand why Africans didn't try to rescue us when the Europeans stole us from Africa and took us to the Americas and the Caribbean. See, now I see it be your own people sometimes. I'm over here in the strip club just trying to save my own life, struggling for my life in the strip club. And nobody came to save me. However, I digress. But what I saw on Saturday night was a jubilation of all sorts of people. Some of them were dressed really weird. Some people were naked. There were some people that were wearing just like body paint. And it was just a bunch of people just partying and having a good time. And there's people in the streets. The line to Lacage was 2 blocks long. I've never been to Lacage, and that certainly wasn't going to be my first night going. It was just so many people all about in the Walker's Point area. And guess what I didn't see? I didn't see not nan police officer, not nan cop, not nan street was blocked off. No police officers on horses, no police officers on bikes, no police officers on foot. And it was very diverse. It was Hispanic and white, very white. It was black. It was men and women. It was a whole bunch of stuff that was in between. It's a whole bunch of things where you had to do a double take and a triple take. It's a couple of people where you have to remark like, damn, their surgery was really good because I can't tell. You know what I mean? There is no corresponding grouping and gathering of people of color like you have with the LGBTQ community. There is nothing where black people are celebrating with white people, Asian people, Latino people, Eastern, Northern, Southern European, nothing, where we're all celebrating our individuality, but also our oneness. It's not the 4th of July. It's not Christmas. Like, there is nothing that celebrates the diversity of quote unquote people of color. And I feel like I need to demystify that because we continue to get lumped together. Politicians lump us together. Oh, you've got to get 30% of the people of color vote. People of color vote for different things. We live in different places. We have different levels of education. We have different incomes. You cannot lump us together. And some of us hate each other. There's some people of color that arrive in this country and already have a chip on their shoulder when it comes to black people, which is wholly offensive because we, as black people, the curators and creators and founders and builders of every single part of this nation's foundation, should have the right to say to someone, if you are going to be racially biased and prejudiced against African Americans, then don't come here because we don't need more of that. If you're not coming to be part of the solution and how we can break down these barriers of segregation and racism, then don't come. And I'll stand on that. I'm not one of those people, oh, let everybody come on over here. We let them come over here. That's more people that the white folks can get in their coalition to hate us because it's very, very easy to hate black people. It is really, really easy. All you have to do is just see a couple of headlines, read a couple of news stories. So I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I want to remind you of a situation that took place in 1991. I'll never forget it. I had just turned 16 years old, and I was in driver's ed looking forward to that freedom of getting my driver's license. At some point, side note, ladies and gentlemen, like these kids nowadays don't even want to drive. I've never seen anything like this. You guys know what I'm talking about? These 16-year-old kids now, they're not motivated to get their driver's license. That's all we wanted to do when we were approaching that age of 15 and a half and you can take driver's ed. We couldn't wait to get our driver's licenses. Now you got people 17, 18, 19 years old, never got a driver's license. How are you going to get to work? How are you going to travel? How are you going to get to the grocery store and run errands? That's an interesting phenomenon that exists in this current generation. But I also feel like I need to transfer a bunch of knowledge to this current younger generation who may see people of color as one big cooperative group that are all united together fighting the system. 100% factually inaccurate. So I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to remind you of a young lady who was murdered by a Korean shop owner, 15-year-old Latasha Harlins in South Central Los Angeles in 1991. It was also roughly at about the same time as the Rodney King beatings, and the animosity between Asian business owners and shop owners in South Central Los Angeles and black people reached a fever pitch. I want folks to know that the animosity between Asian business owners and African-American patrons is still going on. And we're going to talk about Cyrus Carmack Belton, who was chased down by an Asian store owner. This was on just a week ago. Chased down by an Asian store owner and his son. They chased this boy for 130 yards and shot him in the back because they thought he stole 4 bottles of water, which surveillance footage shows he stole nothing. So if you're going to lump, quote, people of color together, I'm going to give you some real specific details to where you might want to think before you speak. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What they doing? They smiling in your face. All the time they want to take your place. The backstabbers. Backstabbers. They smile.
Latasha Harlins was a 15-year-old African-American girl who was shot and killed over a $1.79 bottle of orange juice in a liquor store in South Central Los Angeles on March 16th, 1991. I had personally just turned 16 years old when this took place, and it made national news, and it sent shockwaves through black communities everywhere, because now not only we got to deal with what happened with Rodney King, not only we have to deal with racism that we face from white folks, now Asians that own businesses in our community don't trust us. They murdered that girl. Oh, the footage is available still 35 years later. You can still see it. Shot her on the back of the head, blew her head off. Another bit of history for you. Those of you that saw the cultural phenomenon that is the movie Menace to Society, the opening scene of that movie, where Kane and O-Dog go into a liquor store, get into an argument with a Korean store owner. They're about to purchase some beers, and then the Korean woman, this is in the movie Menace to Society, the Korean woman's like, "You hurry up and buy." And then the Korean man behind the counter at the liquor store in the opening scene of Menace to Society says to O-Dog, "I feel sorry for your mother." And O-Dog says, "What did you say about my mama?" O-Dog then shoots and kills both of those Korean store owners in the opening scene of Menace to Society. That scene in Menace to Society was revenge for Latasha Harlins. The incident involved a confrontation with the store owner, Soon Ja-do, a Korean woman who shot Harlins in the back of the head, and the act was captured on security video. This event occurred shortly after the beating of Rodney King by police, intensifying existing racial tensions between African Americans and Korean Americans in the area. So you got to keep in mind, at that time in South Central LA, when tensions were very, very high because of the Rodney King beating and those police officers that were just wailing on Rodney King. And then you have this Korean shop owner murdering a girl who was literally had the orange juice in her hand, was about to pay for it. And this Korean woman, Soon Ja-do, killed Latasha Harlins. Let me give you the rest of the story, because some of you may have forgotten the penalty that the court of law issued to Soon Ja-do for first-degree homicide of Latasha Harlins. The event occurred shortly after the beating of Rodney King by police, further intensifying existing racial tensions between African Americans and Korean Americans in the area. During the trial, Harlan's family faced dismissive remarks from the presiding judge, who suggested that the tragedy could have been avoided if Harlan's had never entered the store in the first place. And yes, on today's program, we are going to talk about African Americans shopping in Asian-owned beauty supply stores and buying our Chinese food, because there is a movement. I'm not sure how much steam it has picked up, and I don't know if the steam has arrived here in Milwaukee. There are a number of African Americans all over the country calling for an outright boycott of anything Asian owned in a black community. Now, before you decide you want to jump on this bandwagon, I'm going to give you the details of exactly how many Asian owned businesses there are and why they're in the black community. You do not see anywhere even close to the number of Asian-owned restaurants and Asian-owned stores and shops and corner stores and Asian-owned dry cleaners in the suburbs, and that is for very, very good reason. Sometimes when you put unwanted minorities in the same geographic space, either they cooperate, they work together, and they build strong coalitions, or they hate each other. You take groups of people that nobody wants. Nobody wants the blacks. Nobody wanted the Asians when they came over here. And we had big time Asian hate in this nation. It's interesting because Asian people, when you talk to them, they never really talk about like the Asian Exclusion Act. Maybe you may read something about the Japanese internment camps. But going up to an Asian person, because they've all faced tremendous amounts of racial discrimination when they were brought here basically as indentured servants and slaves to build our railroads. They never complained about it. But boy, oh boy, an Italian sure will tell you how rough they had it. Oh, don't let an Irish person tell you about how they were enslaved. But the Asian people, they don't really say much. But it was abundantly clear that Asians were not wanted in the United States save for their labor. And if you don't want Asian people populating your cities and your towns, put them with the blacks. Don't let them get business permits in white communities. If they want to open up a shop or a store or a dry cleaners or a Chinese restaurant, do it in a black community, which further erodes black economic cooperation. Don't worry, I got all the details for you. And I'm not over here trying to start a war. I'm just trying to show people who are still ignorantly saying, oh, all people of color can come together. Nah, not. But it's not black people's responsibility to initially just supposed to welcome some damn body. Everybody thinks that, oh, Sherwin, how come you're not bringing people together? That's not I'm not here for that. I'm here to provide information. Once you guys get the information and the facts, if you want to work with somebody else or cooperate with somebody else, by all means, but you're going to know the history of it now. Asian businesses were placed in the black community to further erode black economic progress. Like when you put unwanted groups of people on the same land and be like, here, fight it out. Jews and Palestinians. There you go. There's a beautiful example. That is what white supremacy does. Well, we don't want the Jews really just roaming around anywhere in Europe. And the Jews were like, probably a good idea. Like, we need a place to chill. You know what I mean? Where we can just have our own. And then the Marshall Plan was like, yeah, why don't you put them on the Palestinians' land? You know, the part of the world that the Palestinians have owned and ruled peacefully for 5,000 years. Yeah, for 5 millennia. Yeah, put the Jews there. They'll probably get along, right? Soon Jadu was convicted of voluntary manslaughter but received a sentence of probation. A verdict that sparked outrage within the African-American community and led to increased hostility toward Korean-owned businesses. This incident, along with the Rodney King case, contributed to the civil unrest and riots that erupted in Los Angeles in 1992, highlighting deep-seated issues of racial conflict and injustice in urban communities. The murder of Latasha Harlins remains a significant event in the discussions about race relations, systemic inequality, and violence in America. Some would argue that those riots that we saw during the spring of 1992 because of Rodney King, that was actually, most of the people from South Central were rioting because of Latasha Harlins. Rodney King's situation just was another compounding of the tensions that were going on in South Central Los Angeles. But what happens, though, is when you have situations like that where you've got police brutality, it highlights police brutality in every other major American city. And when you have conflict between African-American patrons, because they're putting their businesses and their shops and their stores in our community, but then when we go in there expecting decent service and be treated like, customers, they treat us horribly. So there's conflict there as well. We'll take a break, come back, continue our little chit chat. We want to further demystify the complicated nature of lumping all people of color together. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Brandon said, damn, I feel old. I turned 1 month old March 15th, 1991. Hold on, you feel old. I was in high school. Linda says, sure, when I learned in college that all Asians are not from the same clan. They run in packs, organized in loves hip-hop culture. Very interesting culture. Linda, you're conflating a race of people with culture. So that's like saying, oh, all Africans, including African Americans and Africans from, I don't know, 120 countries in Africa, oh, they're organized in different clans. Asians have whole different nationalities. But you also had another comment in the YouTube chat, Linda. I think you're referring to Hmong. Hmong are like, so they technically 1,000 years ago were Chinese, but they had a real specific and unique like culture and religion. But then the Chinese kicked the Hmong out. Then the Hmong went to and inhabited Thailand, Laos, and parts of Vietnam. The Hmong also were allied with American GIs in the Vietnam War and were given refugee status after the Vietnam War because of the sacrifices they made to help American GIs. But someone Hmong versus someone who was Korean versus someone who is Filipino versus someone who was Japanese, different languages, different history, different culture. China, whole different culture altogether. Communist country. A lot of those Asian countries, actually, I think Laos might still be communist. I don't know what the hell Vietnam is these days. But no, they're all very different. But I think when you're talking about clans, you're talking about the Hmong culture. Hmong are probably the most friendly. Second generation and third generation Hmong. I think we're on the third generation now. First generation came over right after the Vietnam War because they live in the black neighborhood. And yes, they will have chickens. They'll do all sorts of stuff. Their funerals. Oh, you'll know when a Hmong person died. The whole block will know. Their funerals are a week long. But they probably are the most sympathetic, if I could use a term, to the African-American condition because they live right next to us, right? I got a Hmong family 2 doors down from me, and they've been there as long as I have. I've been in my house 20 plus years. My shovel broke one year. I needed a shovel because when I was young, I used to shovel my snow. Now I got a snowblower. I learned that lesson. Once I started getting in my 30s, I'm like, because I got a long driveway. So my shovel broke. So I saw my Hmong neighbors was down the way, a couple houses down, and they were shoveling. I said, hey, y'all got an extra shovel? They're like, yup. Just lean up against the house when you're done with it. I was like, cool. They've been my friends ever since. But there are some very unique differences between the different Asian cultures and nationalities. South Carolina jury finds store owner not guilty of killing of black teen. And so there is a theme here. When business permits are granted, a lot of time there is a racial component in where your business permit may be granted. So maybe you go back 30 or 40 years and an Asian family wants to open up a dry cleaner somewhere in Wauwatosa or West Dallas, a place that was fresh off of housing covenants. And the suburbs would say, no, we're not going to grant you a permit here because your business will compete with white businesses that are in these neighborhoods and these communities. The whole point of having segregation is so that your business owners and your customers are economically cooperative. Because we see this in the black neighborhood. What you don't want is a lot of the businesses and the economic activity to be owned by, say, one race of people, but the customers to be another race. Because the owners of those businesses will then take that money out of the community in which the business is located. And white folks learned that a long time ago. They did not want any other races doing business in their neighborhoods or their communities. Now, there was a period of time where people tried it, and white folks used to do this too. So if you, let's say you're in the third ward, and you were Polish, and at the time, in the 1920s, 1930s in Milwaukee, these foundational years of the city of Milwaukee, you're Polish immigrant, and you open up a little butcher shop in the third ward, which is an Italian neighborhood. You got lucky, something happened, you greased some palms, and they allowed a Polish or Irish butcher shop owner to get a little storefront in the third ward. Here's what would happen. Now, we didn't do this as black people, but I've learned this throughout history of how white people kept their economics cooperative. If the council allowed an Irish or German or Polish butcher shop in the third ward, which was the traditional Italian neighborhood in Milwaukee, what would happen is this. Some Italian boys from the neighborhood will come to your butcher shop, maybe every day, maybe a couple times a week, maybe on Friday. And they would say, look, we don't approve of this. You're German, you're Irish, you're Polish, you have a butcher shop here in our neighborhood. The council gave you the permit. We don't really approve of that. So what's going to happen is you, German, Irish, Polish butcher shop owner, are going to pay us. Every time we come, we're going to ask for some money. We'll take it out of the register if we have to. We'd rather not do that. But this is what you get if you, a German, Polish, or Irish person, you open up a business in a traditional Italian neighborhood, you're going to pay us for protection. Otherwise, we can't guarantee what's going to happen. And then the German butcher shop owner, I will not do that. I will not pay you anything. I have the right to open a business wherever I want to. And the Italians will be like, all right. Next thing you know, the windows are busted out. And then that German butcher shop owner realizes it's not worth it to have his butcher shop, or the Irish or the Polish butcher shop owner. It's not worth it to open a business in someone else's neighborhood because they will extort me. They'll take all my profits, and or they will vandalize and burn down my shop. And that is how they kept certain neighborhoods completely white. Not to mention, you might have a couple of Italian police officers on the police force at the time. They would go and see that Irish or that Polish or that German butcher shop owner, and they would shake them down too. Real things that actually happened because ethnicities then were fighting for survival. And you didn't want another group taking money out of your community and then giving it to their German community or their Irish community or their Polish community. Black folks, we never did that. We weren't that kind of organized, mostly because we were so distracted in our fight for housing, open housing, and civil rights and voting rights act. We couldn't really keep pulse on who was coming into our neighborhood and taking advantage of real estate and retail that we weren't going to invest in anyway. So all these other minority undesirable from the whites, undesirable groups were able to get business permits in our community because we didn't necessarily fight it like white ethnicities did. And I'm not saying that we should have, but what you see is firm economic foundations amongst those other communities, especially back in the early days of Milwaukee, and they kept their money together. Now, they did it illegally. They did it by extortion. They did it by racketeering. They did it by organized crime and mob rule, but they took it very, very seriously. If you're going to be in this German neighborhood, this Italian neighborhood, then it's going to be a German, Irish, or Italian business owner in this neighborhood. Otherwise, the ethnicity of that neighborhood is going to kick you out. From the Associated Press, a South Carolina jury last Monday found a store owner not guilty of murder in the 2023 shooting of a 14-year-old black child. The jury returned the verdict for Chekai Rick Chow, age 61, who is Asian, who shot Cyrus McCormick Belton in the back after chasing him from his convenience store in Columbia, South Carolina, but maintained he acted to defend his son. The killing sent waves of anguish and grief through the African-American community in Richland County, where nearly half the population is black. After the verdict was read, sobs and cries of distress could be heard coming from the Carmack Belton's family, seated in the gallery. Chow sat silently frozen before slowly bowing his head into his interlocked hands. Prosecutors and a defense lawyer in closing arguments painted a much different picture of the 2023 shooting. Prosecutors said Chow acted in anger because he wrongly thought the teen had stolen 4 bottles of water from the store. A defense lawyer said Chow fired to defend his son only after the teen pointed a gun at him. It should be noted that no gun was found. It should be noted they chased that boy who didn't steal the water. He didn't steal anything. Now he's running away. They chased him for 130 yards. A football field, including both end zones now, is 120 yards. They chased this 14-year-old who stole nothing. Surveillance camera showed he picked up 4 bottles of water, put them back, walked out the store. They chased him for longer than the length of a football field, shot him in the back, and killed him, and a South Carolina jury found this Asian man not guilty. Let's talk to JD. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
What's going on, Sherwin? How you feeling today?
Feeling all right, man. What's on your mind?
The economic impact of immigrants coming to the black community has been felt since Jewish people have been coming to our communities, especially on the north side. A lot of the businesses before I was born were Jewish, and then it was the Arabs, and now it's primarily Indians with the gas stations and the stores. Those people are usually not Arab now. And what happens is they come, and the reason we are not allowed to have those stores, a lot of times we don't get the permits from the alder people, and then if we are allowed to get the store, we don't have the proper channels to keep the supply chains open like they do. We see the same thing with hair care. A lot of black people have tried to open up hair care businesses. There are currently black hair care lines, and they can't get the Chinese to to distribute their product and produce it at the low cost that the Asians are able to, thus furthering the economic exploitation of black people in our own communities and the furtherance and betterment of their communities, because those Indians don't live over here. They mostly live on the south side and in the suburbs. And it's a real detriment. And it's not that black people don't want to come together. It's that a lot of times there are roadblocks to our economic advancement because of the systemic racism in our country.
That's right. Thank you, JD. Appreciate your call.
All right. Thank you.
If you are a Southeast Asian immigrant and your children apply to college in the United States, very common. And then they get into Harvard or Yale or Penn or whatever, and then the family comes over as well because they're seeking economic opportunity. Keep in mind, the family may have money already. They could be a wealthy family in the nation in which they live. And so they can pay for those special visas, those EB-1 visas that fast track your citizenship because they have a member of their family that's getting accepted into a college or university here in America. And so they are bringing not only money, they're bringing business savvy. They also are bringing a supply chain. if there is a supply chain of hair and hair products and hair care products that are probably made in Asia, sometimes those Asian families have connections with the suppliers of those products that they know they can sell in the African American community. And they're already coming with money. So they can buy a storefront, they can get all the necessary permits, they can open up. And just like JD said, they already have the supplier overseas. Now they're going to get hit with tariffs, obviously. This is one thing that Donald Trump tried to do with tariffs, is to interrupt that flow, that supply chain from people that are from other nations that are producing the stuff that we buy here in America. Then someone from that nation comes to America and they maintain that supply chain, so the money is flowing directly back to China, you see. Black people have a really hard time breaking into that supply chain because a Chinese wholesaler of hair and hair care products is not going to do business with a black entrepreneur because they're going to do business with their own first. And so it makes it very, very difficult for us to break into those opportunities. I'm going to take a break, come back, talk to Key on the other side, but also want to give you more details about this murder of this 14-year-old that was shot and killed. He was chased down by two Asian store owners. They accused him of stealing a bottle of water. He didn't steal anything. And the jury acquitted the shooter of that 14-year-old boy, even though that child was killed in an act of anger. And he was 130 yards away from the store when he was shot and killed. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee is making real progress. 3 straight years of declining traffic deaths, but we're not stopping there. Join the City of Milwaukee's free Vision Zero Summit with AAA and AARP on June 10th. The summit will bring together community members, transportation advocates, and city leaders to advance the goal of zero traffic deaths in Milwaukee. Be part of the movement for safer streets and a safer future. Join us and learn more at milwaukee.gov/Vision Zero.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Eight 212-1017 833-212-1017 is our phone number. City 5421 says, just stop shopping with people who don't have our best interests. You wouldn't buy anything from anybody. That's always the first answer. I'm not picking on you, City, because it's logical. Well, only shop where people like love you and care about you. Only shop where the owners of the stores look like you. You can't buy 99% of what you need if you're black now and you only want to shop at a black-owned business. Where you gonna get your cell phone from? Where you gonna get your internet service from? Where you buying your clothes, your shoes? I guess you probably can have a grocery store or two. You're not shopping on Amazon, right? You're not buying anything online. If we are to only shop with business owners that are like us and have our best interests in mind, and white folks can have your best interest in mind too. If you're a bargain shopper, Walmart might have it cheap. That's your best interest, right? To buy products and services that are inexpensive. But that still doesn't work because you'll have a place. Beauty Island is an example. There were some things that happened. I remember Mike McGee Sr. had tried to lead a protest and a boycott there. And, black people were told to stay out of Beauty Island because they pushed the owners of, if I'm not mistaken, it's before my time. I was a child when this happened, but I remember it. I remember people talking about it. The owners of Beauty Island, who I believe were Asian at the time, pushed a pregnant woman, pushed her down to the ground and hurt her. And then there was a clarion call hey, black people, stop shopping at Beauty Island. And then the boycott was in motion, and there was a line of black people that still wanted to shop there because we get so addicted to the places that offer our products and our services. It doesn't matter how they treat us. And plus, black people in this country have a real high tolerance for abuse. We do. We take it because it's a part of being black, and we just accept it. It's almost cultural. We accept it. There was a situation at Elsa's in August of 2012 where two black women were berated and called all sorts of racial names. And, this is why black men don't like you and you black women are loud and you come in here and don't tip. And this happened in public. Mary Freeman, the Carl Kopp, who, you guys know that Kopp's and Elsa's owned by the same people. In fact, Elsa is Carl Kopp's mama. Kopp's the hamburgers and the frozen custard. Those are his businesses, okay? So I went to school actually with these two black women. So when it took place, I was all over it. And I just got into WNOV probably a couple months prior to. So this is one of my first major stories I discussed when I was on WNOV. And so we were telling black people, if they're going to talk to you that way, stop going to Elsa's for a whole week. Because that happened on a Friday or Saturday night. So that next week, we lit the airwaves up telling folks, if they're going to be disrespectful to you, stop going to Elsa's. This is in 2012. Don't go to Elsa's. Don't buy their chicken wings. Go somewhere else. And a whole bunch of black businesses would call them yo, we got chicken wings. We won't treat you that way. You don't need to go to Elsa's. The number of black people that said, I'm still going to go to Elsa's because I'm going to show them that not all black women are loud and boisterous and obnoxious. Not only am I going to go to Elsa's, people are literally saying this. Even though someone who is affectionate with the owner of Elsa's, because he sat there the whole time while these two black women that I went to school with were getting berated. Carl Kopp did. He didn't say nothing. Because he knew that black folks were still going to come to his restaurant. No matter how you talk to us, we coming back. And the number of black people that said, well, I need to go back to Elsa's and spend extra money to show that black people can be civil and we can be well-behaved. And so I wanted to check on my work. So that whole week, I'm telling people to stay out of Elsa's for a whole week. 3 hours a day on my show. So I'm going to do a little recognizance. I said, I know there ain't going to be no black folks in Elsa's because we said for a whole week for black folks to I just said for that weekend, don't go to Elsa's. Let's just see if we can starve them out for a weekend. So I parked my vehicle down the Cathedral Square area. And I was like, this is unusual. There's not a lot of parking down here. I'm thinking to myself, there must be something else going on in the Cathedral Square area. So I parked my vehicle. And I'm going to walk up to Elsa's to see if anybody is in there. And I'm assuming ain't no black folks going to be in Elsa's, okay? Man, I got a block away. I seen black folks milling about. They was outside. They was all up in Elsa's. So even when we get righteous and we say, if a business has an owner that's not black and they say disparaging things about black people or they call us the N-word, and then we get righteous and say, we're not going to shop there anymore, we're going to boycott that business, it doesn't work because too many of us are addicted to the products that we get. And if they have your specific brand and you can't get that brand anywhere else, you're still going to go. Because as black folks, we know that they don't like us and we don't necessarily like them, But money is so fungible to us, it almost doesn't matter. As long as we're getting what we want, we will accept poor treatment. Let's talk to a patiently waiting Key. Hi, Key. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing all right. What's on your mind?
This ain't a general conversation. I was just calling about respect, mutual respect. I really be thinking, like, prime example, like these gas stations in the hood, for example, or like in the inner city or whatever, with no bathroom service or like no access. And I just feel like that should be required to have a clean, running, like, bathroom. It should be a community place. It should be reciprocated. Like, we are supporting you. There should be a community hub. Like, that's just an example, but the respect, it has to be reciprocated. And it irritates my soul, to be honest. So I don't know if it's a policy or something that we could do, even as simple as clean and running bathrooms open to the community is required. Like, it's just irritating to me. But that's all I wanted to say.
All right, Key. Thank you for your call. There's a term for it that's escaping me, but public restrooms used to exist before cities were integrated. I'll look the term up when I go on commercial break, but there's a way in which they engineer and design public spaces to keep people out. So in his example, like, why can't these shops, these stores, these gas stations have a restroom that either patrons can use or the public can use? It'd be as simple as this. The patron would be like, yeah, we have a lot of prostitution going on in those restrooms, so we're not going to let anybody use the bathroom. And look, let there be one incident of prostitution in one of those public restrooms, because it actually would happen. And the city would be like, hey, we're going to shut your business down and pull your permit, gas station owner, because we have evidence of prostitution going on in your publicly available bathrooms. And so what the business owner will do is say, we're not going to have bathrooms for anybody then. But then good, decent, honest people that just need to use the bathroom, they suffer as well. I'm going to take a break, come back. I got to find that term. It's how they engineer societies to keep certain races of people at a detriment. Like, they'll have not bus shelters, but like benches are tilted upward at like a 45-degree angle so homeless people can't sleep on them. They'll put like spikes and stuff underneath bus shelters, underneath benches, so the homeless people can't sleep underneath them. It's an actual specific type of engineering that is designed to harm people in public. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, a Milwaukee Black media company.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. The term is called hostile architecture or defensive architecture. And it's architecture and design of public accommodations that make it difficult for undesirable people. That includes having free public restrooms. That includes, I'm looking at examples. Maybe we should, you know what, X, I'm going to send you a couple of these pictures to put up in a YouTube chat. So instead of having a bench, just a flat bottom bench like for a bus shelter, every couple of feet they'll have like an armrest. So you'll have like 3.5 feet armrest, 2 feet, 3 feet, another armrest to prevent a homeless person from laying down. And this is an urban design technique that is being used all over America to harm people. There was a situation in Red Arrow Park right in downtown Milwaukee where Dontre Hamilton was sleeping underneath a bench in a Milwaukee County park. And I didn't think it was illegal. Well, it's not illegal to sleep in a Milwaukee public park because white people go tanning, and if they fall asleep, do they get shot by the cops? I mean, if they got dope on them, well, I mean, maybe. Just saying. Push that dope around here in our parks. But to rid spaces of undesirable people, also got to keep in mind that almost 40% of the homeless population in the United States are African-American men. Please keep in mind that black people on a good day were 13 or 14% of the whole population. So when you're talking about homeless programs and anti-homeless programs, you're talking about programs for a majority of black men. Just an FYI. Let's talk to Daryl. Hi, Daryl. How are you? You're on 101.7
Hey,
The Truth.
Hey, Sherwin. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind?
Well, I actually had a couple things I wanted to talk about. I don't know if it's like you, but I know for myself, I really do hate when people say, particularly black politicians or any politicians or people that saying that, people of color, because there's a difference between African Americans, our struggles, and the struggles of other groups of people. About the only thing we really seem to have in common is the idea that white people dislike us. It's about all we really kind of share. And it seems like when African Americans go and we focus on making things better for ourselves and just by circumstance, our gains, the stuff that we do also helps other groups of people who are also discriminated against. But, I think we should definitely stop saying that. What do you think?
I agree, because it doesn't allow for nuance. There's a lot of differences between those different quote unquote people of color. If you come here from another country and you chose to come here and you don't like how life is in America, those people of color can literally go back to their own country. We don't have that option, or they can come here from another country and they can hate black people, yet for some reason we're all lumped together like we're all one big happy rainbow family, which we are not.
Which I think, Sherwin, is a whole part of, I guess, the transition from another country to coming to America. If you are a person of color, is that, you end up hating on black people. And that's your rise, or that's your connection to whiteness in America. And I just think that, they participate in it. Some people, some Asian people that are woke, don't participate in that, because, I have a lot of good friends from different cultures, and they don't seem to be like that. But I think their culture in general, that is what is taught at home. I mean, all we got to do is look at the little, I know you've seen the little stuff about the Asian dolls in China, the little black baby dolls that people be destroying.
No, I've not seen that.
Have you seen it?
But I have not.
Oh my God, sure. Yes, you have to take a look at that. You got to take a look at it. It's a stress-free doll, and it's black, and they throw it, they step on it, they shoot water in it, so it blows up and holes come out of it. You have to watch it. Another thing I wanted to talk about is that we got to develop respect for these other groups. I remember, Sherwin, when I went to Chicago, I was in this chick in Chicago. We went to an hibachi restaurant, and we had like a 7 o'clock appointment. So we're just a reservation. So we're just sitting there. Hour goes by, and we're like, what's going on? The place is packed. So it's like, okay, well, maybe it's just taking them a long time to get tables in and out. But, of course, I'm seeing people that came after us, get seated after us, white folks. And then eventually we found maybe about an hour and a half later. Now, it's probably crazy that I say, but like I said, I'm in Chicago. I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is just how it works. It's very packed. They sit us down, and guess what, Sherman? We were sat next to other black couples. Our table was like one of the only tables that had black folks at it. So they were just sitting there waiting. They didn't want us to sit at a white table. They just wanted to wait for other black people to show up to sit us at that table.
I believe it.
And that's how I'm sitting. What you say?
I said, no, that makes sense. I believe it.
Yeah, and it just, like I said, it's just them upholding white supremacy. And, I guess the last thing that I'll say and get your opinion on is that what I was talking about, like respect, maybe people don't respect this man because there's zero retribution from us. And I'm not really saying, I'm not, an opponent of violence.
Respect which man are we talking about? Which man?
We're talking about the gentleman down there in every situation, but particularly that Chinese man down in South Carolina that shot that boy.
Okay.
There's no retribution. It seems like the only people we can give retribution to is each other. These people have no fear when they kill us and do stuff to us that anything's going to happen to them beyond they might get arrested. They waited almost, a year since this man was originally arrested or something, and nothing happened to his store. They starting to vandalize the store now.
Well, they wanted to wait for the verdict.
Kinfolk?
Because people didn't know.
But
well,
still.
You're right. They probably could have
But
done
still.
something in the meantime. But the two types of retribution that will be the most effective, black people do the least because they are just the most difficult to accomplish. The first and foremost is withholding our money. We're consumers. And if you tell us to stop spending money, it's impossible because we're addicted to spending money. But that's the most effective kind of retribution because we make other people in other communities rich, incredibly. We make them so rich that they can buy property far away from black people and never have to deal with us, never have to work with us. The other type of retribution is voting in high numbers. We are allergic to the ballot box. The reason why they work so hard to diminish our voting numbers and to chop up our legislative districts and to add all these extra caveats and all this voter ID is because they're afraid that we're actually going to use the ballot box. And here's the thing, we don't. But people have to wonder why they work so hard to make voting so difficult, because they are afraid if we do it. And trying to get black folks to understand those two pieces of retribution is nearly impossible. But Daryl, I appreciate your call. So a couple things come to mind. Who waits an hour and a half for hibachi? You got 12 minutes out of me. 12 minutes, and I'm going down the street. The story of him being seated eventually after an hour and a half. First of all, don't throw shrimp in my mouth like I'm a seal. I don't like that. I think it's very disrespectful. They throw the shrimp in the air and you got to catch it like, I'm not a seal. It's condescending. And it always misses. And now you got, it hits you in the face. You got shrimp juice. Now you got shrimp juice on your face because they throw the shrimp. You guys know about hibachi where it's the Asian dude. He's like, and he's got his thing. He's cutting the stuff up and he's flipping stuff in the air, and they make a little volcano out of onions, and there's fire that comes out of it. It's all like razzle dazzle. The food ain't even that good. I'm not gonna wait for hibachi. I noticed something is because I'm a diner. In fact, I shouldn't admit this. I had some family in town on Saturday, and we went to one of our spots. One of our spots is Mr. B's, not Mr. B's owned by Craig Berry on Brown Deer Road, but Mr. B's in Mech, a Bartolotta's restaurant. Nice joint, classy joint. So whenever we have friends and family in from out of town, we take them out to eat. We go to a nice joint. So we go to Mr. B's. My family's been going to Mr. B's probably since it's been there. And Saturday was the first time we had an African-American server. And this just makes us feel so good, and we're so happy. We had never had a black server before at Mr. B's. And then here's what made it worse. Oh, we were cutting up. We were the loud black family, and I was quite embarrassed because I always talk about the loud black family. We were the loud black family at Mr. B's, and as I was participating in the volume, I was like, oh, no, look at all of the whites looking at us like we're intimidating them because we're the loud black family. So not only did we have a black server at Mr. B's who was just as friendly and down home, and my brother was like, he ain't no regular brother. I said, I'm like, come again, explain, Tyler. He's like, no. He's like, that brother from the South. I was like, you don't say. Tyler was like, I bet you he is. Now, my family is from the South, including my mother and my uncle and my aunt, my uncle's wife, and they didn't pick up on it. My brother is very intuitive. He's like, nah, that brother from the South. And so somebody at the table asked him, like, hey, because he had not really an accent, but you could just tell he wasn't Milwaukee black. He was hybrid. I think my mother might have asked him, like, where are you from? He is like, I'm from Florida. Well, my dad's side of the family is from Florida. Not only is he from Florida, he is like one town over from where my uncle and aunt stay. And then once we found that out, not only do we have a black server at Mr. B's, but he's from the South and he's from the next town over that my uncle and aunt stay in. Oh, we just erupted in a black jubilation, and all the whites were frightened. I was like, oh, we're that black family that everybody always talks about disturbing the peace. And quite honestly, I didn't care because it was a moment for celebration. But here's what I notice when I go to restaurants. Because I like to sit at a secluded table. Whenever I go out to eat, if it's me, especially if it's me and somebody else, I want to sit away from everybody. I don't want to be around other people. I don't want other people to hear me. I don't want to hear them. I like to sit in seclusion, and oftentimes I will request tables away from everyone. What I come to find out is if you go to a majority white restaurant, sometimes they'll sit you off in the corner because they don't want you either up front. So when other patrons walk in, they don't want to show the black family first. And I always looked at it as, oh, this is great. They're sitting me way in the back. They're not sitting me way in the back because they are often honoring the fact that I want to sit in seclusion. They're Rosa Parksing me. Like, oh, Mr. Hughes, we have a table for you. Come this way. Oh, okay. They'll say, follow me. You keep walking, and you're passing all these other tables, and You're still walking. No, this way, Mr. Hughes. And they take you back through the kitchen and no, just keep going. Walk out of a couple double doors. No, it's still this way. Hop in an Uber. Here's your table. We have one for you here in Waukesha County. So be mindful of that as well. Sometimes they seat black patrons far away from the main entryway of the dining room, or they'll put black people all together. So just be mindful of such things. I'm going to take a break, come back, continue talking about this case where a 14-year-old boy was shot and killed by an Asian store owner. And just like in the other case that we talked about with Latasha Harlins, there's going to be no jail time whatsoever for the individual that committed murder. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In the morning, when I wake up,
833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. You know, all people of color don't get along. FYI, white people. And I think they might get confused because they see, I guess it's projected unity of the LGBTQ rainbow coalition people, but they don't all get along either. There's a whole bunch of white supremacy steeped within the gay community, but it seems like they're all unified because they all have different interests. If you're trans and versus an old school gay man, like old school gay man that had to hide from major repression because cops would arrest gay people. They'd bust up gay bars and gay nightclubs and arrest everybody. It's against the law. They had to fight. Like those old school gays, they're a tough group. And then they're like, yo, what is this trans stuff? So old school gay men are more transphobic than anybody you would ever meet. Let's talk to Nicole. How are you, Nicole?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to add a quick comment about what you were saying about Elsa's and also about having restaurants seat you in the back. Elsa's kind of used to do the same thing in the late 90s. We used to frequent there, and then we stopped going because it kind of was a known thing that Elsa's would seat the black people in the back. And now that you mentioned why restaurants do that, it makes sense. So that's all I wanted to add.
All right, thank you, Nicole. But Elsa's must have some real good chicken wings. Chicken wings are so delicious. We'll seat us anywhere. An ex-post from the account @ClownWorld shared a video in a car calling. Oh, why would you do this? Calling for a boycott of Chinese food. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. Some of you probably have your favorite Chinese restaurant. Hell, I have mine. You know what's so interesting, though? In America, you got Chinese restaurants everywhere, but they are disproportionately in the black community. The Chinese restaurants, Chinese food is so ubiquitous with black culture that they fry chicken. You can get wings, you can get drummies and flats at every single Chinese restaurant. That's not authentic Chinese food. That's because they know black people eat it. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I've had Harold's chicken before. It's some Chinese restaurants that fry a better chicken than some of y'all mamas. Better than Harold's. I ain't lying to you. Because they were not allowed to open Chinese food restaurants in white communities. Just like land was stolen from Native Americans and chopped up and divvied up, some of it became farmland, some of it became subdivisions and suburbs. The black community oftentimes was the same way. It was chopped up and divvied up and given to different ethnicities for them to develop. A lot of Chinese restaurants in the black community. Hell, there's just on North Avenue, on a 10-block stretch of North Avenue, you got two. Then you got one on 51st and Burleigh. You got a Chinese restaurant on 52nd, 53rd and North. Keep going west on North Avenue. You got number one Chinese on 62nd and North. You got another number one Chinese on 76th and Appleton. They're everywhere. Let's talk to Lisa. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Good morning, Sherwin. How are you?
I'm good. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is always on my mind every day I look at it. We all need to look at it and see it. But yet people of other races, they move in our community, they live off our money, and they belittle us. They call us the N-words, they call us this and that, but you still there. You know what you should do? Instead, when one calls you an N-word, say, you know what? You free because of me. You need me. If we left this country, you would not be free. You would not have the rights that we have. We're not even free, but you would not have the rights that we have. Until black people start looking at that, when they look at that, then they see, well, we did build the United States of this America. We built this world. When you start looking at that, because you don't look, I'm looking soul food. They call it Southern food. Whatever we invent, they take and they rename it. People in this community, I see so many Mexican food trucks. Why are you over here? Why? I'm so tired of Mexican food. I'm making Puerto Rican food. Now, the difference is Puerto Ricans don't care for Mexicans, just in case y'all didn't know that. Why? Because Puerto Ricans don't like that Mexicans do not consider themselves black. Puerto Ricans will tell you we black.
No,
we negra.
No, they won't. Not all.
Yes, I lived it. I lived with a Puerto Rican family throughout my teenager years.
You live with there's 3 million Puerto Ricans in the United States of America, and I guarantee you, all of them do not consider themselves black, and some of them try to divorce themselves from blackness. And in fact, the Common Council president right now, who has split the 8 members of the Black Common Council, would probably be one of them. But we all have examples of people from different races. Like I could talk about how Chinese businesses are exclusionary when it comes to black people, but someone will always say, not my Chinese friends. I got Chinese friends that love black people. Yes, of course, there's always going to be exceptions, but by and large, we as black people cannot think that Puerto Ricans are endearing themselves to us. Because at the end of the day, Lisa, if Puerto Ricans on the mainland of America don't like America, they literally have their own country they can go back to. They can leave America. We ain't got nowhere to go.
May I say this?
Indeed.
But Sherwin, okay, as I said, I was with my best friend for almost 45 years. When I was with them and pretty much living with them, when I say living, I live with them. My mother her mama got permission for her to stay here. I'm her negra daughter. They showed me the difference between a Mexican, Puerto Rican, they're Cubans. They only associated with Cubans, Puerto Rican, and their kind. Don't you dare, they said, don't you dare ever call a Puerto Rican Mexican. That's fighting stuff. Now, like I said, I lived with this and I saw this. We were in Chicago for Mommy's birthday, and my best friend brought a Mexican girl to, the party. Mommy and Molly was sitting there, whatever. And she, Mommy started asking questions because she's just looking at her. And she said, excuse me, are you Mexican? She said, yes. Mommy froze. You should have saw her face. You should. And I was like, okay, Molly, Molly, talk about something. This is what I've seen and grew up. I understand there's a white spot and on pretty much all black sheets. I understand that. You're going to find that. That's very few. What you do, you wipe it off. But still, you're going to find a blotch in everything, like we do with black people. We find issues with, like you said, protesting. Black people still went back. I remember that because I drove up and I saw a lot of people go. I said, "What's going on?" And that's when I heard about it.
What are you referring to? Going back where? Beauty Island, right?
Beauty Island. Okay. And then they told us, "Well, go support the black stores." Well, the black stores we did go, but they didn't have the things like Beauty Island did. But that didn't deter me. I said, "No, I'm not going back. If you treat that black young lady like that, you're going to treat me like that. And how dare you treat anyone, especially my black sister, that type of way? What did she do?"
All right, Lisa, we got to land the plane because I got another phone call and I got to take a break. All right, then. Thank you. Okay. Because Lisa knows a Puerto Rican family that liked her, and they identified as part of their black hair. All Puerto Ricans don't do that. And first of all, why do we need somebody else to identify as partially black for us to feel safe and secure around them? I don't need that. I don't need somebody to say, "Hey, Sherwin, guess what? I'm part black too a little bit." Because they're trying to be exploitative. I don't even think, because they're not really with us in the struggle, because they have their own culture. They have their own language. Puerto Ricans do. They're nuanced. But that's also like saying, Lisa used the example of, I know a Puerto Rican family that identified with their black side and they were very nice to me. I also could say to folks, hey, I know white people that are really nice to me and that, buy me food and give me compliments. There's no white racism anymore because I know a white family and white people aren't racist. Can't do that. Don't nobody want to be black. Nobody wants the uncomfortable and inconvenient parts. They want the dance moves. They want the rhythm. They want the soul, but they don't want everything else that comes along with it. Let's talk to Marlon. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Good. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind?
So I think it's interesting because people were talking about that banning the Chinese restaurant, but there's a Chinese restaurant owner who killed a young black man in South Carolina, and I don't think it has been covered a lot, and people aren't talking about it, and that's why the ban of Chinese restaurants and things have came out.
Marlon, you must have just started listening to the show. I've been talking about that situation for an hour and a half.
Oh yeah. I was at work, so I just turned it on. So I apologize. But the other thing that's kind of interesting is Jane Goodall. She was on not Goodall, Jane Elliott. Jane Elliott was on Oprah Winfrey's show like back in the '80s, and she asked that question to a group of white people. You know, if you love black people so much, who will want to change? Who will want to trade places with a black person? Nobody in the audience raised their hand, and she was like, that just shows you that you know that there's things out there that are bad that are happening, but you want to put your head in the sand and say it's not. You know, I like a lot what Jane Elliott did with the white community and things like that. But yeah, so she did it on an Oprah show, and it's all over YouTube and stuff like that if you ever want to find it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was the blue eye, brown eye experiment. I've played that 1,001 times. I'm very familiar with it. I think women are great. Love them a lot. Would never want to trade places with one. We have a misconception as black people. And this one, it irks me to my core because we still don't, we see white racism as something that we can fix. We can't. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can say. As black people, we lack credibility to change white people's minds. White people have to change each other's minds. White people have to create systems of education that they put other white people through that better explain prejudice and ignorance based on race. We think that we can. If we act a certain way, if we pull our pants up, if we talk properly, you know what that does? That's evidence of their supremacy rubbing off on us. They need to maintain their racism because they want more of us to act like them, because then they can blur the line and say, well, we're all the same now, aren't we? Lisa said, oh, well, if it wasn't for you, and like thinking that this could really work to change a white person's mind, saying, you white people are free and you have this country because of me. Do you think a white person is going to say, you know what, you're right. I'm not going to be racist at all anymore because it wasn't for you and your sacrifice and all of the things you had to endure, I wouldn't have the lifestyle. I'm so sorry for being racist. I'm going to give it to you exactly how it is. They know how good we are. They know how smart we are. They know how beautiful we are. They know that if one of us reproduces with one of them, the offspring is not one of them, it's one of us. That's why they're racist, because they know if we get the same access, the same opportunity, the same education, the same benefit of the doubt, and the same privilege, they would lose every single time. That's why they're racist. They're not racist because they think that we're inferior. You don't punish inferior things. If it's inferior, you can ignore it. It doesn't cross your mind at all. If you truly think something is inferior, you'll go most days and won't even be concerned about it at all. They think about us constantly. Oh, how can we mess with them? What can we do? We take jobs out of their community. What can we do? Let's make it harder for them to vote. Okay, 2 or 3% of them don't have IDs. Well, then require an ID to vote. How do we make it harder? Oh, the jobs are being created out in the suburbs. Well, and a lot of them don't have transportation. They can't afford a car. They don't have driver's license. Well, cut the bus routes. They're always fixated on how they can harm us. It's not because they think that we are inferior. That's the first thing you have to know about racism in this country. It is not because they think that we are less than. They know that we are greater than. We're about 1/10 of the population in this country, and what we do shapes the entire nation. We are a small, in the grand scheme of things, and I'm not including people of color, just black people. 13, 14% of the population on a good day. Out of a group of 100 Americans, 13 or 14 of us are black. We move this nation. We move the Democrats. We move the Republicans. We move policy. We move district boundaries. We move the census count. We are small. That's because they know that even a fraction of us has the ability to impact and influence an entire nation, if not the entire world. Take a break, come back, talk to Al on the other side. I'm sure he's got some insights for us. We're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Post on X shows a short video of a woman in a car calling for a boycott of Chinese food. The boycott call was in response to a South Carolina jury's acquittal of convenience store owner Chekai Rick Chow in the killing of 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton. In the clip, the woman addresses, quote, brown sisters and brothers and announces we're boycotting Chinese food. Now, she shouldn't say brown sisters and brothers. Say black people. Because some brown people are Chinese. And they ain't going to boycott their own food. I bet you the Chinese food that gets made in Chinese restaurants that are located in the black community ain't even the Chinese food that Chinese people eat, if I had to guess. They have a separate menu for us. I told you the story about John Broderson, right? The guy that owned all the Popeyes franchises, never let his kids eat Popeyes chicken because Popeyes chicken is for us, not for his kids and his family, because that's unhealthy. At one point in time, he owned, I don't know if he owned the one on Cesar Chavez Drive. He owned all the Popeyes but I'm not sure when that one was built. I don't know if that one goes back to the 80s. He got the first Popeyes in Milwaukee, which was on 28th and Capitol, and then ultimately owned, he sold some of them off though. But in the beginning, he owned every Popeyes in Milwaukee, Wayne County, Michigan, which is Detroit. And then there was a realization that maybe this goes back to Lisa's point. Puerto Ricans love fried chicken too. And so he owned every Popeyes restaurant on the island of Puerto Rico, in Milwaukee, and in Detroit. So his house that he had on Lake Drive used to be located at 4620. I don't know if it's still, he doesn't live there anymore. I don't know if they tore it down. It looked like, you ever see like a school, like a middle school building? His house looked like it was like a campus built with chicken money. I remember when that white lady got killed at that Popeyes. She was with her 10-year-old son. It was in the 90s. I think I was in high school when it happened. She got robbed. White woman trying to get some chicken at that Popeyes on 28th and Capitol. Teenager shot her in the chest with a shotgun in front of her 10-year-old kid. Didn't stop us from going and getting Popeyes. But I've been to that Popeyes before too, because when I worked at WNOV and I would take Capitol Drive West to go home, and if I'd have had no food at the house, because I've been done with my radio shows at noon for like the last 15 years. So sometimes your boy be hungry after we get off of his shift. And I stop at that Popeye. It's noon now. I'll just give me a little, I'm going to give me a little snack. Let me give me a little 2-piece. Just something slight. Why is it that black people at fast food restaurants are angry that you are there ordering food? Like, they're at work, you order food, and they're mad that you are ordering food from them. Hi, can I? Popeyes, man, take your order! And I try to be calm because maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe a little chicken grease splashed on them. Maybe they're just not happy. Welcome to Popeyes! Hi, can I get it? We don't got none. Oh, I didn't. So we don't have any of that either. Whatever you thinking, we don't got none. We got one piece of chicken. We don't even got no boxes. We got to serve the chicken in a paper cup. We got one piece of chicken. Okay, I'll take that one piece of chicken. Do you know if it's spicy or mild? I don't know. Which one do you want? I would like spicy. Then it's mild. Okay, I'll take it. You gotta use the exact change. The card machine is down. Al, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. First of all, you chose to serve chicken. You had every free will to stay at home. If you made some bad decisions, get over it. Talk to your guy. We don't care where he's at. That's a personal problem. Moving forward, I think the problem with some of these Asians, ever since they overturned that act in 1943, you then became ungrateful and got beside yourself. So now you feel you can say what you want and do what you want in reference to black people. But let me give you a little side note that y'all don't want to hear. I don't care how pale you are, how straight your hair is, and how slant your eyes are. I don't even care if you follow that bootleg religion, Christianity. You will never be white, honey boo boo child. You hear that? The only reason you was able to open your business because you was allowed to come in blacks. The whites didn't want you, honey boo boo child. And how dare any of you be racist? Because I know some Asians. And they can really put you on blast in your history, how y'all used to boil dead babies and have it in the soup. And you Chinese, you're shunned by your own, because if you're too dark, they think you've been out in the sun too long, okay? I don't care how pale you are or how straight your hair is. You will never be white. And when they get ready and get tired of you, they're going to send you right back over the water. So you think about that, because y'all got a lot of nerves. And I can go a little deeper, but it's Monday. Honey Boo Boo Child, you better sit in the beer and go talk to your kin folks, because you're only over here is because of that act that was overturned. Because when you came back before, scoot, skeet, skeet, they said you wasn't coming. You'll still be over there in the Vietnamese and over there in China and all them other places. You better be grateful where you was allowed to be. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll take a little break on that note, eh? Can we put up some examples of the exclusionary architecture? So earlier, Key called in and wondered why certain businesses, establishments, maybe gas stations or convenience stores don't have public restrooms and why there aren't public accommodations. Shouldn't there be a law? There used to be in the United States of America, but when communities became more integrated, they got rid of public restrooms. Like now restrooms are, if they have one, you got to get a key or you have to purchase something. Because if you can harken back to the Jim Crow era where you had whites only restrooms, and we also were under the impression that, if they have a whites only restroom, that they would also have a blacks only restroom. No, they wouldn't. I need you to think about that for a second. We've seen the whites only and the blacks only. Those were actually more, like that was progressive for the time to even offer a bathroom to black people. Sometimes they wouldn't even have a blacks only bathroom at all. But as places became more integrated, they said, well, yeah, we're just not going to have public restrooms at all. But then public accommodations got even more strict because then you have a growing homeless population, and we hate homeless people. So where there used to be just like a regular bench, now they'll have benches with like spikes on the bottom of them, and they'll have these dividers, like these armrests on benches so that homeless people can't lay down. And if you look up exclusionary architecture, we want the public to be as uncomfortable as possible to make sure that there aren't vagrants and undesirable people just hanging around on park benches. So there's a whole brand of engineering that exists to create public accommodations, whether it be bus shelters or benches or park benches, to make them as uncomfortable as possible for undesirable people. We're going to post some of those on our YouTube. If you haven't done so already, go to youtube.com, search 1017 The Truth, hit subscribe. Oh, yeah, right there. Right there, the bench that we have, I don't even know what the hell that is with all them spikes. Oh, because people sleep under underpasses. So they literally put spikes. That's horrible. That's just mean. Here's another bench right there with a divider on it where if those armrests weren't there, you could just lay down on the bench. Another looks like a marble decoration, some public decoration with spikes on it so you can't even sit down right there. Yeah, let's keep those scrolling. Right now, I'm going to take a little break. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Want to save money on energy bills? With free tools from We Energies, you're in control. Manage your energy use with easy tips. Earn rebates on home upgrades, calculate your energy use, create savings goals, view and compare bills, and more. With We Energies, the energy info you need is at your fingertips. Save your way at WeEnergies.com/simple savings or download the app. We Energies. Simple steps, real savings.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We asked you via YouTube poll, which I can't see anymore because I answered. X, you had a YouTube poll? We asked how often you go to a Chinese restaurant. Is that what it is? Often, rarely.
Asian-owned businesses.
Asian-owned business, okay. I sent you the damn poll question. I forgot what the hell I said. How often do you frequent or go to shop at an Asian-owned business, right?
So it's sitting at 6% often, 34% occasionally, 50%. I mean, rarely 50%, and then never 10%.
So 90% are going in one form or another with different frequencies to an Asian-owned business.
About 50%.
50%? Well, how many are the nevers?
Oh, no, I actually included the nevers into that. Never mind. Only 10% is never.
So then 90%.
Yes, 90%.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's also, and they own a lot of businesses, y'all. A lot. And I have the details of how many they own in Milwaukee, like per capita. So for African American businesses, it's like, I don't want to mess it up because I have the information in one of these tabs here. We own something like 2 or 3 businesses. African Americans own 2 or 3 businesses. 3 to 5 Black-owned businesses per 1,000 Black residents. Asians own between 17 and 50 per 1,000 residents. So they got a lot of business. Hey, does Milwaukee have a Chinatown? No, you don't think so? What is that thing they got? It's over on Hampton and Appleton. It used to be a real inexpensive grocery store. I think it's like an Asian place. It's like an Asian paradise. And then you have an Asian, I shouldn't call it a Chinatown, but you have like an Asian market right there by the police station, by 3rd District right there. That's like 50, right by McBob's, right across the street from McBob's. 49th and North, it's an Asian, it looks like an industrial building. It looks weird, but that's a little Asian joint they got over there. Let's talk to Mr. Green. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you, Mr. Green?
I'm great, Sherwin. Mr. Green, good friend of your auntie and Uncle Mac and Miss Renee.
Oh, great. Oh, I know
And
you.
speaking about, yes, you were speaking about bathrooms, and we was just in Chicago for a Rib Fest in Chicago. This our 3rd year there, but me and my nephew, we stopped at a gas station, Sherwin. And if you remember Beverly Hills Cop, the second one, when Eddie Murphy, it was a glamorous police station. That's how this bathroom looked, and you have to buzz in and get in there, and it was like being in Hollywood. And this in Chicago for all people that don't got something against Chicago, you too, Sherwin, because I'm bad till I die. But the bathroom was so good to where you want to take your shoes off.
Wow. And where was it? Was this like a public restroom? Was it affiliated with a business or a restaurant?
public bathroom on the north side of Chicago where the Rib Fest was this weekend, and we just stopped there to get some ice to fill our cooler for some drinky drinks. And they had to buzz you in the bathroom, and when you went in there, you wouldn't have wanted to come out.
So it's
Chicago, so people
you gotta get buzzed in, so it's not like technically open to the public. But I guess that makes sense in a city like Chicago, because if you don't have a certain amount of public available to the public restrooms, even if you have to get buzzed in, then you're gonna have people using the bathroom on the streets, and they probably figure it's better to invest in having some kind of publicly available restroom. Now I'm shocked that it's clean. That's very good news.
Sherwin, it was so beautiful. It was beautiful. Oh God, the bathroom was so beautiful. But anyway,
go down to Chicago just to use the bathroom. All right.
That's what me and my nephew are going to do. We're going to Chicago to use the bathroom. I ain't going to even use it at home. But that was what I want to say about bathroom. But Chicago got a lot going on, Milwaukee. And Mr. Green's Barbecue, we've been representing Milwaukee for 3 years there. Go online, check us out.
Where can we find you online, Mr. Green?
Mr. Green's Barbecue. We on Facebook, Twitter. You'll find us.
All right,
Mr.
then.
Green's Barbecue.
Mr. Green's
But
Barbecue.
we're located on 102nd. No, I ain't gonna say it because I'd rather pay for advertising. I ain't gonna do that.
Well, I'm giving you a freebie. You might as well.
Oh, 102nd and Silver Spring, right before Lovers Lane. Old Walmart parking lot.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. I'll give you a little rule of thumb. If a black person calls it barbecue, we got barbecue. That's gonna be some good smoked meat now. He said he on 102nd and Silver Spring, the old Walmart parking lot. Go check him out. Some of y'all's riding around on him right now, riding around the city. Go ride down on him, get you a plate, call us, and let us know how it is. Mr. Green Barbecue. We on 100. He said I'd rather pay for advertising. He ain't gonna buy no ads. Yeah, I give him a little plug because he know my uncle and my auntie. Y'all go ride down on him on 102nd and Silver Spring in the Walmart parking lot. I know you can't miss it because there ain't nothing else in that parking lot. Take a break, come back. Let's do an analysis. Exactly how many Asian-owned businesses do we have in the city of Milwaukee? I also would like to think that our Asian business and shop owners that are in Milwaukee, that are in the black community, I'd like to think that they treat us nice and they treat us fair. Let's find out exactly how many there are on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jackamick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackamick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Truth Nation, stand up. Tap in. Share your truth with the 1017 crew on 1017 FM and 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee, a Milwaukee Black media company.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Started this program talking about the acquittal of a Chinese man named Chikai Rick Chow. And he killed a 14-year-old black child named Cyrus Carmack Belton for allegedly stealing 4 bottles of water. The surveillance footage showed he picked up 4 bottles of water and put them back. He left the store. This 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton was running. He was chased for 130 yards and ultimately shot in his back by this Asian store owner. And it brings up very, very painful memories of interactions that we have had with Asian store owners in the past, and a lack of respect and dignity, including Latasha Harlins, which is a story that I can recall from my youth. She was an African-American girl, 15 years old, went into a convenience store in 1991 to purchase a bottle of orange juice on her way to school. The Korean shop owner accused her of trying to steal it. The Korean shop owner then draws a pistol and shoots this 14-year-old girl, Latasha Harlins, who's on her way to school, shoots her in the head and kills her. And the Korean woman who murdered Latasha Harlins in 1991 received probation. Shortly thereafter, there was the beating of Rodney King, which led to widespread riots throughout Los Angeles. And if you talk to people that were from South Central Los Angeles at the time, those riots were more the treatment and the murder of Latasha Harlins, because those Asian and Korean store owners had been disrespectful to black people since their inception into our community. If you can recall a movie called Menace to Society, where if you are a black Gen Xer, that's a cultural revolution, that movie is. And the opening scene of Menace to Society is Kane and O-Dog going to a liquor store to buy 2 40-ounce bottles of beer. And there's some disrespect between the Korean liquor store owners and Kane and O-Dog going in there to buy a 40. And then one in the scene in the movie, now not in real life, one of the liquor store owners says to O-Dog, "I feel sorry for your mother." And O-Dog draws a pistol and shoots both the male and female Korean owners of that convenience store. That scene in Menace to Society is essentially like revenge for the killing of Latasha Harlins. Just like the movie Inglourious Bastards is revenge, per Quentin Tarantino's directing and writing, from the Jews to the Nazis in World War II. Let's talk to Sherman. Hello, Sherman. How are you? You're on the air.
Yep. How you doing today, Sharp?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind?
I don't know. Everything's all right on my mind. Wanted to see if you can remember this. Remember back on in it was a little while ago. 21st and Center. A shop owner shot a little boy in the back. No, shot a little. I think it was a boy or girl in the back over a bag of chips. That person's been on America's Most Wanted for the longest because the store owner left the country after that.
When did that happen? It's hard to keep track of all of them.
I forgot when it happened. On 21st and it was over a bag of chips. I know that for sure.
Like
probably a little bit more than 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, I don't recall that one. What
Yep,
were they Asian?
Whoever there was Arabs. They left. They left the country, but he's been on America's Most Wanted for the longest.
Well, I hope he never comes back to the country.
Yeah, and then it was another time. This happened in our family a while ago. I had a cousin who had got pregnant by Arab, and so he wanted her to abort the baby, and she wouldn't. So he shot and killed her. He left the country too.
You're kidding? You know they love black girls. They love
30. Them. Yeah, they love black girls. This is like 30. I'm 53 now. It's probably around about 30. Probably about 33 years ago. Yep, about a little bit less than 33 years ago. Yep, he shot and killed her.
That's terrible. I'm sorry your family had to deal with that.
Yep, they love black women. They love it. But you don't see they don't have any women out here dressed scanty clothes and stuff like that. But when it comes to blacks behind closed doors, they paying them and all this stuff.
Yes, they do. Yep, that's right.
Yeah. All right, then you take care, Ryan.
You too. Y'all know that them store owners be. Hello, Loranda. Come here. You come talk to me, Loranda. Come back. Come back behind glass. Come on. Yes, I give you all the blunts, all the blunt wrappers. Yes, come now. Yes, me like real much. Me like. And then some of that's not fair for me that's not nice. But I'm talking about the ones that sexually assault black, like, look, girls, y'all, not women. Girls that come in them convenience stores. I'm telling you. Folks in our community know that this is actually going on. We don't say nothing about it. I'm saying something about it. But so the next generation, like their parents might have come over here like in the 80s or the 90s, and so like those kids, some of them are Pakistani, but the kids are American, right? Because the parents came over here, I don't know, 30 plus years ago, got the little gas station, got the corner store. Now they got 20 or 30 of them now. But then their children grow up in Milwaukee, right? And then you'll have the next generation, and they'll be working in the corner store as well. They don't have the accent. In fact, some of them talk black. And you may think that they're actually cool. Nah. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, young blood? Okay, hold on, sir. Wait a minute. Are you Punjabi talking like that? Oh man, I grew up here, dog. What's good with it? All right, well. Give me a 3-pack of Magnum. Ha ha. You finna hit something tonight or what? I'm not talking about that with you, sir. Yeah. Okay. All right, then. Yeah. You want some blunts? No, I don't want no blunts. All right, then. Stay up, fool. Because they think that, you know what I mean? They grew up in Milwaukee. They grew up working in the corner store. I mean, they literally grew up in the hood because some of them kids are learning how to run that business when they're 12, 13 years old. Milwaukee County's Asian population has grown from 2.7% of the population in 2000 to 5% today. It has nearly doubled. The city of Milwaukee's Asian population is generally estimated to be about 20,000 residents, while Milwaukee County contains 50,000 Asian residents, depending on how multiracial respondents are counted. Using census business ownership rates and local demographic data, the city of Milwaukee has between 500 and 1,000 Asian-owned businesses. Milwaukee County has between 1,000 and 2,000. The metro area has 3,000 plus. These figures include restaurants, convenience stores, gas stations, nail salons, professional services, medical practices, technology firms, wholesalers, and other businesses. One notable data point comes from Milwaukee's Indian American business community. The Encyclopedia of Milwaukee reports that Sikh Indian entrepreneurs alone operate more than 300 gas stations in the Milwaukee area. It's actually not pronounced Sikh, it's pronounced Sikh. Sikh, S-I-K-H, like that Indian culture. They got the turban. You know, them dudes be having long hair. Did you know that? Under them turbans, them dudes' hair be going down past their back. I never knew that. They keep a lot of hair up under them turbans. Them jokers be having hair go down on their butts. They don't
I've
ever
seen
take
it.
them turbans down, but when they take them down, their hair be illustrious. They could be in a Pantene commercial. It's Sherwin, watch this. Watch what? Look at my head. It'd be flowing in the wind. It'd be wavy. That's not funny.
It's pretty funny.
The statistic by itself suggests that the total number of Asian-owned businesses in the broader Milwaukee metropolitan area is likely well into the thousands. Once Chinese, Hmong, Vietnamese, Korean, Filipino, Pakistani, Laotian, Thai, Japanese, and other Asian-owned enterprises are included. If Milwaukee County has roughly 45 to 50,000 Asian residents, approximately 1,000 to 2,000 Asian-owned businesses, that equates to between 22 and 44 Asian-owned businesses per 1,000 Asian residents, or about one business per every 23 to 45 Asians. That is an unusually high entrepreneurship rate compared with the general population and is consistent with national census findings showing Asians having one of the highest rates of business ownership among racial groups in America. Based on census data, demographic estimates, local economic data, and known business concentrations, a reasonable, evidence-based estimate is that the city of Milwaukee contains as many as 1,000 Asian-owned businesses, while the Milwaukee metropolitan area contains 3,000 plus. About 700 to 900 Asian-owned businesses in the city of Milwaukee and roughly 3,000 across the metro area is a defensible midpoint estimate as of this date. Using the best available census-based estimates, Milwaukee has far fewer Black-owned businesses per person than Asian-owned businesses, even though Milwaukee's Black population is much larger. I'm going to pause right there. Let's see how we compare to the Asians. See if they actually own more business than us. Let's also not pretend that if Black people owned a larger share of smaller businesses and gas stations and corner stores. Because the problem, though, is how do you find the people? Because what the Asian folks will do, and I don't want to stereotype them, even though this show has been a little stereotypical, but I got facts, though. I got data now. They'll make their whole family work at that restaurant or at that gas station. There's a 4-year-old child working in a Chinese restaurant because you see them doing their homework in the back. You see them. They grow up in the restaurant. If you have a Black-owned business, you ain't getting your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, your uncles, your aunts, your brothers, your sisters, your mamas, your grandfather work in a restaurant or work in the business. Hell no. They make their families work in that restaurant. They'll say, hey, little Chukum Chum say, you work tonight. But mother, I am only 4. You got to work a double shift tonight. But mother, I must do math homework. Now that's racist. It's not bad racist because they're very good at math. I was just talking last week. I'm bothered by this statistic. The Scripps Spelling Bee. 101 years old. They just had one. They just had a Scripps Spelling Bee. It's been around for 101 years. The first Scripps Spelling Bee was in 1925. There have only been 2 Black winners in 101 years. And one girl was Jamaican. Hi, can you spell onomatopoeia? What I know? Spell a what now? What you want me to spell? Spell a what now? Rasta blood cut bomba cloud onomatopoeia. So one girl was Jamaican, and then there was an African American girl. So in 1998, that was the first Black Jamaican winner of the Scripps Spelling Bee. Then we didn't have another Black winner until 2021. Like, I think that is an indictment and a referendum on education in the United States of America. More importantly, no Black boys have ever won the Scripps Spelling Bee. So then when I have my conversations about this very high level of functional illiteracy, that's evidence of it because our children are not competitive when it comes to spelling. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The city of Milwaukee has approximately 215,000 black residents. It's more than that, I think. What year is this from? Oh, maybe because it used to be 250. Some of y'all might be moving out. That makes sense. Some of y'all are going to Menominee Falls or going to Waukesha. Some of y'all are going to Texas. So we'll just take this number as gospel for the time being. The city of Milwaukee has approximately 215,000 black residents, representing about 38% of the city's population. We're going to combine U.S. Census annual business survey data, Wisconsin Minority Business Ownership Reports, Brookings Institution Racial Demographic Estimates, and Wisconsin Extension Analyses. A reasonable estimate is that Milwaukee has roughly 500 to 1,000 black-owned businesses, including both employer and non-employer firms. A narrower estimate for employer firms alone would be considered much lower. businesses per 1,000 black residents using 215,000 black residents in the city of Milwaukee. There are between 2.3 and 4.7 black-owned businesses per 1,000 black residents. That is an exceptionally low number. What was the Asian data? Okay. Asians have one business for every 23 to 45 Asian residents. There's no way that's right. Maybe it is right. For every 1,000 Asian residents, there are between 23 and 45 Asian businesses. For every 1,000 black residents, there's between 2 and 4. Ugh! Well, we got Mr. Green's barbecue. Anybody go to Mr. Green's barbecue yet? Go get the barbecue. He said he's on 102nd and Silver Spring. He's in an old Walmart parking lot. He's probably easy to find. I might ride down on him. Mr. Green, you got tips? I should have asked him how much his prices are, because y'all be going crazy on these barbecue places with these prices, y'all. And yes, I did see the video clip going viral of an African-American man at Harold's Chicken who was cussing out the manager of Harold's Chicken because it's too expensive. Come on. Why would you want everyone on the internet to know that you're too broke to buy Harold's Chicken? He's cussing. He's like ready to fight. These damn prices. I can't even say all the things that he is saying. Is there a way to play a clip? No, there's not. We can't play a clip where it only airs on YouTube, because on YouTube it's uncensored. But if you play it, it's going to go out over there. And he's cussing a blue streak. Oh, he's mad. He's mad about the price of that chicken.
Did you post it in Hughes Views?
I could post it in Hughes Views. You know what I might do? Is if you join us tonight at 7 o'clock, because that's when we go live on Hughes Views 414. If you haven't subscribed to that YouTube channel, you should. I made a new promo for it and everything. Search Hughes Views 414 on YouTube. That's my uncensored YouTube channel, where we have conversations there that we can't necessarily have here. So I might find that clip. But it's so embarrassing. Whatever happened to, and I've done this before. You ever hear about a new restaurant? You walk in, you take a look at the menu, see the prices, and just walk out. You don't say anything. You don't complain. You don't yell at somebody because the prices are too high. You just leave. But food prices have gone way through the roof. I didn't feel like cooking over the weekend because I knew I was having dinner with some family that was in town on Saturday. So I was like, I'm not going to the store. So I DoorDash. DoorDash should get you. Ooh, it'll get you, but you're at a crossroads. It's real cognitive dissonance, because I can say to myself, okay, I can get in the vehicle. I can go drive to the place, order my food ahead, or I can go wait on it. Or I can have Sharonda just drop it off on my front step.
I can't believe you trust them.
You can't believe that I trust DoorDashers?
Yeah, I always have.
As long as the bag is sealed, and most of the times, I shouldn't say most of the time, all the times my bag is sealed by the restaurant. If my bag is open, then I don't want it, but it's sealed up real good.
I just have a real big phobia of them just messing with my food on the way there.
Oh, brother, those would not be the people that you should worry about messing with your food. The people that mess with your food are the ones that cook it. That's your patty will get dropped on the ground, and because they only have a certain number of burgers for lunch service, you think they're throwing it away? Nope. They're going to cook it with them little hair follicles on. No. They're going. I am all too familiar with what some disrespectful and just mean and disgusting people do when cooking food at some of these restaurants. Not to mention, a number of restaurants in Milwaukee got rodents, got roaches. Oh, yeah. If they got dinner service coming up, right? And the meat that they're going to prepare, because they order everything in advance, right? Let's say the meat, somebody was careless and they left a little meat storage locker. They left it ajar a little bit. And then they go in and check the the meat inventory for tonight's dinner service, and then they're looking at the meat, and what do they see on the meat? You think they're going to throw that meat out? You think they're going to put sorry, everyone who had reservations, we're closed. Sorry, come back next week. They're going to open up that little meat storage thing, and they're going to see them, shoo, get out of here. Shoo, I tell you. Shoo, get off of that meat. They're going to cook that meat. And then what are we going to do? Oh, my God. Oh, this is delicious. I've never had this kind of flavor before. It tastes so fresh. That manager be like, yeah, I bet it tastes fresh. 2 to 5 black-owned businesses for every 1,000 black residents. 500 businesses would be about 1 black-owned business per 430 black residents. 750 businesses would be about 1 black-owned business per every 287 black residents. 1,000 businesses would be roughly 1 black business for every 215 residents. Asians own businesses in the black community at 10 times the rate, and they are only 5% of the population where we are 38%. Some of this is institutional. Some of this is systemic. The other thing that I see pretty consistently, other than our really low test scores, which you can follow and track a child's low test scores deep into adulthood because it can translate into future earnings, future employment, higher education attainment, etc. We don't know about money. We really don't. There's going to be a stock that is going to be made available for sale on Friday, and it will be it's called an initial public offering. It's where a business sells shares to the public so that you can be an investor in this particular company. There is a company that is going public for the very first time on Friday, and it's going to have a valuation higher than any company in world history. And I know some of you may have your personal feelings about SpaceX and Elon Musk, and I get it. Some people want to stand on righteousness, and you don't like Elon Musk and what he stands for, but I also have a different kind of understanding about money. Money does not care how you feel. It's only how you feel when you don't have it. There are a whole bunch of people that don't like Elon Musk and a whole bunch of people. Well, we're going to mint millionaires in this country by the thousands, if not tens of thousands, because of a single stock. And fair enough. If somebody wants to continue to struggle and you want to go paycheck to paycheck, you can't buy nothing. You can't afford nothing. You need new shoes. You need new brakes for your car. You might need a new transmission. You got medical bills, and you're going to stand on your righteousness because you don't want to invest in something that's associated with Elon Musk, and you're going to die broke. I'm not going to convince you out of that. Our understanding of money and investing is elementary. Our understanding of money as a whole, as a community, is as low or lower than white people's understanding of black people. Those two things are competing for the absolute bottom. Their understanding of who we are, where we come from, what we can do, what we've created, what we've accomplished, it's next to no information they have about us. We have the same low level of information about money. It's not taught. It isn't. Tomorrow we should ask them on YouTube, Xavier, where did you learn about money? Don't say your mama, because she's still broke. Shout out to your mama. She's probably very nice, but she ain't got no money. That's not nice. Some of y'all mamas are rich. Where do we learn about money? And don't say the street. That's the worst place to learn about money. I rarely have cash. Cash is a luxury for me. I'm also worried that if I lose my wallet, like some of y'all have like all the money that you own, you'll just have it in your pocket. Why would you do that? Because if somebody robs you, you have nothing. If somebody steals my wallet, it would be a nightmare. It would be very inconvenient. But as long as I have my cell phone, I can turn off and deactivate all of my credit cards in 30 seconds. They're not going to get anything. Now I got to go and replace my ID. I got to go to the DMV, which is never fun. Going to the DMV is, look, some days I'd rather go to Palestine than go to the DMV. The DMV has gotten a lot better. I know y'all remember the DMV from the 90s. Oh, I know. Before they had that system, now you got a system. Now serving B91. That system didn't used to exist. The old school DMV, I'm talking about the one on Mill Road. I'm talking about the one on Titonia. You remember those? Okay. You walk in, you immediately hear automatic gunfire. There's babies crying. There's blood on the walls. The National Guard is there. Everybody's wearing camouflage. There's paratroopers landing on the roof. That was the DMV. And the DMV, if you took the most angry, fed up, overworked Popeye's chicken employee and then made them even more angry, that's a typical DMV worker. A DMV worker will be sitting at their window, staring at you, and tell you that they're on break. Look, they're not even doing anything. They're just, nah, I'm on break. You see I'm on break. And now you're having a staring contest. And then if you say, but ma'am, I really just need to get my license plate renewed. I'm telling you, the DMV from the 1990s. And then what would she do after that? She said, I'm on break. I don't care what you need. I'm on break. And then she would reach underneath the desk, or she'd open up a drawer and she'd put a .45 caliber pistol right there on the counter. I told you I'm on break. Postal workers, similar. You ever go to the downtown post office? First thing you do when you get to the downtown post office, if you go up to the counter, is you gotta have a stare down. Whoever blinks first loses. But I'm prepared because both my parents were postal workers. Like, you got to be ready to do battle on the post office because there's something about those employees that they've seen the other side. I don't know what it is about a postal worker. So you get up to the counter and then there's no words exchanged. You're staring. And see, because I know the game, I stare right back. I give him a little head tilt, like, yeah, I can go all day. And then finally, can I help you? Yeah, you can help me. I need a money order. What's the denomination of the money order you need? $1,300. I got your $1,300. And then they give you a little money order. Have a nice day. You have a nicer day. And then the next next! And then they start with their staring contest. Things have gotten a lot better in this world. I know that things are not perfect now and the economy is bad and inflation is bad. Just be grateful. If you're of a younger generation right now, just be glad you didn't have to deal with that version of the DMV that used to exist. You go into the DMV to get your license plates. You end up, they just take your car and give you a bicycle to ride home. Try to get your license renewed. They just say, no, we're not renewed. No. Taking your photo for your driver's license. Photo come out all messed up. Hi, can I take another photo? Nope. That's the photo you're going to have for the next 8 years. That is what the world is going to see you at. Yeah, but you replaced my photo with a white guy named John Travis. Well, you're going to be John Travis until the year 2035. All right, thank you. At least the DMV has gotten better. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flysshf.org and ask for an application.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. improving lives so everyone can thrive, where more people can gain access to healthcare and nutritious food for their tables, where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support, and where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
A major reason is that black-owned firms are disproportionately concentrated among non-employer businesses, sole proprietors, independent contractors, and home-based businesses, online businesses, etc., while Asian-owned firms are more likely to operate employer businesses with physical locations and employees. Differences in access to startup capital, household wealth, business networks, immigration patterns, industry concentrations, and historical barriers to business ownership all contribute to the gap. Do you know that per capita Asian income is higher than white income? They're the highest incomed people in the United States of America. Their communities, and this is almost irrespective of what nationality, they have more money to invest in the startup. So let's say, and there's huge money in the African American beauty supply industry, which we probably could have a conversation about. We're not going to have it today because if the beauty standards in the black community changed, a lot of these Asian businesses that provide the products and the hair and et cetera, they would be belly up. But the inventory is going to cost you several $100,000. You're going to need to find a building. You're going to need to have a rental agreement or a lease agreement, or you're going to purchase the building. You're going to have to renovate the building. You're going to have to get all of your equipment. You're going to have to get all of your aisles. You're going to have to get all of your displays. Of course, you got to have all of your stock. You got to have a good contract with a supplier of all of your products. You got to market. You got to advertise. You got to promote. You have to get approvals, and you have to get operating permits. This may take years and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And here's the tough part. You may not turn a profit for 2 or 3 years, but you are paying a monthly lease. You are paying your supplies. You are paying for your inventory. Some of your inventory is going to get damaged. Some of it is going to get stolen. Some of it is going to get lost. It is a major financial commitment. So when we say, well, we just need to start our own businesses, when I lay out just the initial steps that you have to take, because what will happen is we'll go into a business, we don't like how we were treated, or the prices are too high, or whatever, and we say, I don't want to shop here, I'll start my own business, or we in our community, we'll start our own beauty supply, until you realize you're going to need several $100,000 immediately in upfront liquid cash, and the ability to borrow many times more than that to even consider it, and that's when we walk away. But it makes us look foolish because we say, oh, we're going to start our own business then. And then we never do. And they know that. Now, you would think that because their life's blood comes from us, because we frequent the restaurants. Oh, let me check the poll, actually, see what we're working with. The question is, how often do you frequent Asian-owned businesses? 6% of you say often, while that percentage is low, 6% of the 105 respondents could represent hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit and revenue for those businesses. 33% say that they frequent an Asian-owned business occasionally. 49% say rarely. And only 12% say never. So look at the math on that now. 88% of the people that responded to this particular poll frequent an Asian business in some form of regularity. 88%. That's damn near everybody. And so for us to say like, oh, well, we'll just start our own. No, we won't. No, we will not. Knowing business and getting loans and financing and all these contracts you're going to be tied up in and getting a supply chain and then having to withstand something like tariffs. Could you imagine if you have your profits set just so, but then all of a sudden there's a tariff on everything that you bring in from overseas and all of your inventory is going to come from overseas. Now you're paying 40% more for your inventory. Are you going to raise your prices 40%? You're going to have to, or you will go bankrupt. I don't want us to diminish how difficult it is to start your own profitable business. Do you have enough money to where you can lose money and not make any profit for several years? Most people don't. How are you going to feed your family? If the business that you started to compete with the Asian business because you didn't like how they treated us, you didn't like their chicken wings, you want to start your own chicken wing restaurant. I believe that if black people started a Chinese restaurant, the food would be better than the Chinese people make. And I say that because I've had Italian lasagna made by an Italian before. I've had lasagna made by black people before. 10. Let's talk to the caller. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Man, awesome as always. How's it been going for you? And how was the beginning of your summer this weekend and Memorial Day weekend before I get started?
Both were great. Everything's going
Fantastic.
smooth.
Always glad to hear. And hello, is your producer a new producer?
No, X has been here for a few years. He used to produce Dr. Ken's show.
He gave me the. I gave him when I called in. This is the caller, kind of like Denise does with the effective communication code. He says this is the producer. So, Hey X, what's going on, brother? But I had a thought as you were talking about beauty supply and products that black people purchase, and in my mind, it kind of connected to the requested boycott of certain schools by prominent black athletes who are either attending college and particularly the ones who are coming out of high school this year and next year by the NAACP. And what I was wondering is specifically, I wonder, and I guess I'll do some research on this today, how much of whatever amount, because I didn't hear the amount that you said that is spent at Asian and other beauty supply chains and stores
Millions?
By black people, but go ahead.
Millions?
Specifically, I was wondering hair.
I don't have annual receipts, but it's millions.
Because I'm thinking like maybe hundreds of millions combined with all the other products, but I was just really wondering specifically how much of a hit those industries would take if black women just boycotted purchasing hair for a summer even.
They'd be bankrupt, but black women are not going to do that. We are their primary source of revenue.
If we can ask a black athlete to go to UCLA instead of Alabama or Tennessee, where they obviously don't want them to be able to vote while they're going to college, which is a good idea. I mean, because actually you would have a chance to win a national championship in a blue state versus schools like Tennessee, Alabama, and Arkansas who have no respect for black voters. I think that is a good idea. But I would like to say to our sisters, if you decided to bankrupt them, you could in, would you say 90 days, Professor Hughes?
I don't know. I couldn't put a timeline
Labor Day?
on it. But let's just say they did they did go 90 days, whatever, black women would still go somewhere else and buy the hair. So the businesses that could withstand the quote-unquote boycott, which would never happen. Like, I don't even want to set us up for failure, because when it comes to a woman's appearance, she is not going to put social standing and social responsibility over how she looks, because we would never ask her to do that, because she's not going to be looking a mess for the whole summer. You know she's not going to do that. But there will be businesses that will be able to...
that they are beautiful with their own hair.
Yeah, but that don't
And
matter.
a lot of times they find out they're more beautiful with their own hair.
Says who? It can't come from us, because it doesn't matter how we think they look. It's what they see when they look in the mirror, and it's also how much more beautiful they need to be than the next
I've met women who, once they begin to wear their natural hair and use products that, will make their hair look better than it does when you're ruining your edges, because that's what happens actually. You get to looking like Stephen A. Smith if you use certain products too long. Glue
that would have to be a discussion.
Eats your hair away.
That'd have to be a discussion amongst black women. Black men would have no bearing whatsoever on that. But also, let's say there are a number of college athletes that quote unquote boycott some of these schools where the gerrymandering is going on. What are we talking? 25 or 30 athletes? And I assure you, that athlete will say, you know what, I'm not. Hold on. They'll say, okay, well, I'm not going to go to this school. I'm going to forego my scholarship. There will be another athlete.
You go to UCLA or to USC, which we had to do, and that's why let me make my point. Began
another person, another 18-year-old who's coming from destitute poverty says, "I'll take that scholarship." And so, the number of students that would quote unquote boycott would not be
the top. Remember, I'm saying the top 50 out of the top 100.
Compared to how many black women would need to stop buying hair care product. We're talking about, how human would say 100 athletes will make a decision to go to a school that's their second or third or fourth choice on some kind of a social standing. That's not even realistic, because if you have the opportunity to get a full ride scholarship and then go to the league, do you honestly think, let's be realistic now, I know we live in an ideal world because none of us are in this situation. Those athletes should forego getting that free education and getting a trip to the NFL because gerrymandering never happened. And I'd have a very hard time telling a child who has nothing but their talent, don't go to that school where you very well may win a national championship and you may get drafted to go into the league and make $20 million a year and take care of the entire lineage of your family. No, don't do that because of gerrymandering. I'd have a hard time telling that child, because once they get the opportunity and they excel and they go to the league, what they can do with that money and that wealth, how they can invest it in the neighborhood and the community. They could build schools. They could build field houses. They can build nonprofit organizations dedicating to bettering the black community in which they came from. I would have a very hard time, because this is just a temporary thing until Donald Trump gets out of office. And I can't have our children foregoing once-in-a-lifetime opportunities to play at big colleges because they want to have some kind of social status, because the colleges will adjust. Oh, well, they're not going to win a national championship if this handful of black athletes decides to boycott those schools. There's another athlete at that same school that says, hey, Johnny Smith didn't want this full ride scholarship to UCLA or to Auburn or Texas A&M. Hey, Billy Johnson, do you want it? Yep. And Billy Johnson will win a national title, and Billy Johnson will go to the league, and the child that passed up the scholarship going to be working at Popeye's Chicken. They're working at Popeye's. We're out of chicken. Well, can I get some mashed potatoes? We're all out of mashed. We ain't got no gravy. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Research consistently finds that. Oh, y'all are not ready for this. I'm about to hurt some feelings with this one. Don't take it personal. This is just what the facts are. Black women spend substantially more on hair than any other demographic groups and account for a disproportionate share of spending on wigs, weaves, braiding, relaxers, and textured hair products. Multiple market analyses estimate black consumers account for 70% of the U.S. hair extension sales, despite being 13% of the population. And that's black men and women, so cut that in half. So 6% of the U.S., and some of them are in prison, and some of them are babies, and some of them are senior citizens. We're talking about 2% of a population responsible for 70% of hair extension sales. I ain't done. Black hair care products account for between $1.2 and $1.7 billion a year. Black consumers' hair purchase, all black consumers, $473 million a year. Beauty products purchased by black women only, $7.5 billion every single year. Hair extensions, wigs, braiding hair, installs, maintenance, and salon services, several $billion annually, though no definitive government research exists. Hair extensions are where the economic impact becomes especially significant. Black consumers are estimated to represent over 70% of the U.S. market for hair extensions and related products. Look, listen, I need to show you something. Look at this. I don't pay nothing for this. Dollar Shave Club. That's to try it. Save money on shampoo. U.S. wigs and extensions market is $2.4 billion and continues to grow. If black consumers account for roughly 70% of that market, a reasonable estimate would place black consumer spending on wigs, weaves, braiding hair, bundles, lace fronts, and extensions at roughly $2 billion every 12 months. That figure does not include salon installation fees, braiding labor, maintenance appointments, wig customization. Coloring,
good, Sherwin.
hair treatments, travel costs. I ain't gonna put her out there, but I love her to death. Carrie Noni would go to Chicago to get her hair done and would spend the whole day in Chicago. So not only the cost of travel, when she was down there, I'm going out to eat. I'm gonna be in Chicago. I'm gonna kick it. So her getting her hair done might be $1,000 in total expenditure.
That's pretty normal.
Once services are included, total spending connected to extensions and protective styles likely reaches several $billion a year. And I'm not telling ladies not to do it. Don't do what you got to do. Just know that it's a lot of money. One industry estimate found black women spend an average of $500 a year on hair care products. Oh, that's low. While another found about $54 a month. Women who regularly wear sew-ins, lace fronts, knotless braids, micro braids, or other protective styles often spend substantially more, $1,000 to $5,000 a year when labor and maintenance are included. What? That's a Honda Civic on your hair, and you can't even go swimming. You can't go swimming. $5,000. It's like you can buy a Honda Civic and drive it in the rain, okay? But you pay $5,000 for some hair. I can't get it wet. $5,000. That hair better swim. It should be able to swim to shore. Milwaukee's black population is between 220 and 230,000 residents. Using national patterns, black consumers in the Milwaukee metro area generate tens of millions of dollars annually in hair care, beauty supply, braiding, barbering, and salon-related economic activity. Much of the spending flows through beauty supply stores, braiding shops, salons, distributors, and extension importers. Thank you for listening. Lunch break is up next. Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated,